Hey guys, Jessica and I are fencing today, but now we're closer to home. And this grass here is, I don't know what the camera will pick up with the sun on where it is, but you can see the color of it. A lot different than that grass in the hills yesterday. And this pasture here has not been grazed for 3 years. So it looks way better than the quarter beside it that I graze every year, because it just never grew this year. It was just too dry. So nothing has grown on that quarter, so the landowner gave me permission to put them back on this quarter, but I've got to get the fence fixed up. But he just dropped the bomb on us, and we told him we'd re-fence the whole side by the road, and he goes, well, that'd be good of you, but you know, I did just sell it. And we were like, you pardon me, you sold it? He said, well, yeah. And I said, well, remember when we said we wanted to buy it? Well, yeah, but it was a lot of money. I didn't think you guys could do that. So he sold this grass, but we get it for this year. So I'm just improving the electric fence that I had built 3 years ago. This was a problem fence here. That's why it's out about 13 feet from the other fence. We couldn't keep the cattle there, had corn there, and they couldn't keep the cattle in. So the landowner put a little electric fence up there with some really fine wire, and as soon as the cows would touch it, it would just break. So we just built a fence around it, and then finally I put an electric fence up. And then I like these Gallagher insulators. I'll show you guys one. Anyhow, you just nail them into the post, and then they stick out a foot from the post and then insulate it. And then I like to use a 14 gauge wire. So like I said, it still costs lots of money, but with this stuff I can gather it all up next spring and take it home again. Like I said, we built a 4-wire fence that split these two pastures when we rented it, and that one length of fence was $2,500. And like I said, we'll leave that one there, but depends how ticked off I get. I might gather that up too. So in front of us, I don't ever wear shorts or anything. I always wear jeans, doesn't matter how hot it is. That doesn't change how I dress. I wear a long sleeve shirt, jeans, my ball cap, at least a hat on of some sort, and I have my sunglasses on. It can be 40 degrees Celsius or 110 or whatever it is Fahrenheit. It can be whatever. I always wear the same thing. But if you wore shorts, you wouldn't have them on anymore, because there's thistles and rose bushes and other thorny weeds the whole way here. So Jess and I are gonna go and pound a bunch of steel posts along the roadway, and then we're gonna go to town and buy more supplies, and then in the afternoon, when we really don't want to work, I'm gonna drive the loader tractor over here and just drive through all this crap. Just smash this stuff down. Like I said, my legs are cut, even through my jeans, they're all cut up. So that's why Jess isn't with me right now. She started with me, but I told her go to the truck and she can watch a movie on her iPad for a little while. Doesn't have to get tore all up by rose bushes. So, but we'll flatten them all out. And I'll put an electric wire about right here on this little jump around fence, and then I'll go back to the other fence where my insulators are. But like I said, he'd use these little fiberglass poles and these little wire, where is it, clip on them, and they were useless, so I put some plastic posts in. But like I said, the cows would just walk through it. So then we built this other fence. Like I said, these steel posts in. Jessica's my truck driver. You can't access this side of the pasture with a truck because there's a drain ditch and there's just no way of getting here, so we're just carrying them from the road. So Jess can hand me the camera. I'll show you the pathetic fence. So those are the posts I'm putting in, and then like I said, that's how the fence looks. And like I said, I was gonna tear it all out and put a brand new fence in with 7-foot posts, 18 feet apart, 4 barbed wire, but not anymore. So Jessica drives ahead and brings me a post, and so as you can hear, I'm huffing and puffing because this ground is dry and hard. And when you hit the ground, the post, it immediately twists. So you got to pull it back and start again. So anyhow, we'll bring you back out. And as you can see, the crested wheat's already seeding out. It's already, some of it's shelled out onto the ground already from the wind. And like I said, the only kind of green to the pasture is where the snow would have built on from the fence here. So, but we'll let you go. We'll bring you back. Only 20 more hits, Jess. You'll get it. Right now, Jessica is praying for rain to soften the ground.
Am I done?
Yeah, you can be done. Jessica, how was that experience?
Tiring.
Are we gonna wear off the Chinese food we just ate?
Yes.
Okay, well, we are back from lunch. We went to town to get more supplies. They did not have wire, but they had more steel posts. So we got that. We got the little clips we needed, so we'll have to find some wire at home maybe. So we're back to pound and post, and Jessica said she'd help, so I thought we would record it so that people would believe that she did it, or so her mom would believe it, basically. So anyhow, back to work we go. Well, we've got more posts in. Try not to be so fast here. But as you can see, we got lots to go. I don't know what the temperature translates to in Fahrenheit right now, but I'm sure for our southern guys, they would laugh their asses off at us because it's probably only 90 degrees or something like that. But this ground is hard as a rock and we're tuckered out. So Jessica's a competitive swimmer, so we got to take her home and get her ready to go to swim club, and I'm just fine with that right now. I'll be coming back after and working again, but I'll tell you, after about 10 posts you have to sit and wait for a while and rest because it's a little over 20 hits. And then like I said, the last one I did, it took me about 25 and I was trying the whole time. So anyhow,